Hello everyone, this is Zarko, and in this video we're going to be installing MySQL on Windows. So let's get immediately started here. The first thing that you should do is open up the link that I placed at the very top of the description of this YouTube video that will take you to this page where I wrote the necessary video notes and also shared the links that we're going to be needing while following this video tutorial. So make sure to get that opened up before proceeding, and then we can start with the first step, which is the installation of the pre-requirement for MySQL on Windows, and that is the Microsoft Visual C++ Redistributable package. I shared a link here that you should click and follow, and it will take you to this Microsoft page that you should scroll down until you find this table with these download links here. Now, as things stand with the current MySQL version, installing the x64 package should be enough, but to stay safe, you're going to install both x64 here and x86 as well. So let's start with x64. You can find the download link next to it here, so click on it and it will download an exe file that you need to open up from your downloads here, and it will open up this interface. Note here that if you already have this installed, it will offer some options like uninstall and repair. In that case, you don't have to do anything. It should be already installed, so you can just close out of it. But if you get this install button, that means that you don't have it installed already and that you should install it right now. So you need to read these license term agreements here. And then if you do agree with them, you need to click on this I agree checkbox. And then you will be able to click on the install button here, and the user account control pop-up will show, and you just need to click yes to proceed, and then wait for the installation process to finish, and it should say setup successful, and then you can close out of it. And now let's do the same thing for the x86 version. So click on the download link next to it here, and it will download another exe file that you need to open up from your downloads here. Again, if you have it installed already, you're going to see some other options like uninstall and repair. In that case, don't do anything with that, just exit out of it. But yeah, again, if you see the install button, then you need to agree with the license terms. Click the checkbox here and then click the install button again and click yes for the user account control prompt here, and that will proceed. And to get the x86 package installed as well, you can then close out of it. And in the future, if you ever use the ARM64 version of Windows, then you're going to be downloading and installing that. But unless you explicitly know you need that, then you don't have to actually download and install it now. Okay, so after that's done, we can close this tab and go to the second step of installing the MySQL Community Server here. I shared the download link as the first link here. You want to follow that if you're using Windows 11 or Windows 10 definitely. And then maybe if you're running an old version of Windows, I also shared the archives for the old MySQL versions in case you need to go back version by version until you find the compatible one with your old Windows version as well. But again, if you're using Windows 11 and Windows 10, you need to follow this first link here, and then that will work just fine. So click on that, again, first link in the second step, and it will take you to the download page for MySQL. It will ask you about the cookies. You can decline that. And then here, check the select version option and click on it, and then you want to pick the LTS version. At the time of recording this YouTube video, it's 8.4.4, but it might be a higher version by the time you're watching this in the future. But yeah, whatever the LTS version is, make sure to click on it. We don't choose the innovation version because that's kind of like an earlier version. We want the stable version, and that's why we picked the LTS one. So I am clicking on that right now. And then here we see select operating system. That should be on Microsoft Windows, of course. And after that's selected, we want to find the MSI installer download link here. So make sure to identify that and then look to the right and click the download button for, again, the MSI installer. Don't choose the other options. So I'm clicking download right now. And here you don't have to log in or sign up actually. You just want to click no thanks, just start my download link here, and that will start the download process. It will download this MSI file and then click on that, start it up. Your browser might ask you if you're sure you want to open it, but again, if you downloaded it from the official mysql.com website, then it should be safe, and you can click OK, and it will start the installation wizard. You can see the welcome screen. You can click next here. Then again, make sure to read the license terms. And then if you agree with them, click the I accept checkbox here, and then click next again. Now here, you can just click on typical for the installation type, and then it will proceed to the next screen where you can click this install button, and it will start the process here. It also shows this user account control pop-up. You want to click yes here, and then it will continue with the installation. Now after that's done, you're going to see this screen. You want to leave this checked, so run MySQL configurator. We want to configure our database, and you want to click finish here. Then again, click yes for this user account control pop-up. And now the configurator for MySQL should start. I'm not sure why it didn't show up right away, but I see it here. I'm clicking on it, so you should see this screen. Here, first click next. Then it will ask about the data directory. You can leave this default location unless you have any other specific preference. Then click next again here. Now here it's the networking configuration. The default port for MySQL is typically 3306. So that's good as well. You can just click next. You don't have to change anything here as well. And now it will ask you to set your MySQL root password. So this is an important step. You want to create a new password here. Think of one, but make sure to remember it, because if you forget it, you will have trouble, or you won't be able to access your MySQL database. So just type in a password here of your own, and then you will need to repeat it in this second box here. So make sure to type in the same password. And yeah, just write something maybe more complicated. Don't type a weak password like I did here. So yeah, just think of something, but yeah, again, make sure to remember it. Write it down on a piece of paper, keep it safe somewhere. But yeah, you will need it to access MySQL later on. So after you created the password, repeated it, and made sure that you remember it, you can click next again. Now on this Windows service screen, you don't have to change anything. But you want to double check and make sure that this start the MySQL server at system startup is indeed checked here. So it should be enabled. Again, don't touch anything if it already is. And again, it should be. So if that's the case, then you can click next again. For the server file permissions, you don't have to change anything. You can click next once more. Regarding the sample databases, you don't have to create those unless you want to. So just some sample data that you can play around with. Again, I won't be selecting it, but you can if you want to, of course. It won't make such a big difference. Then click next again. And then on this screen, it's going to ask to apply the configuration. You want to click this execute button. Now wait until it finishes, and hopefully all these check boxes will be green. That means everything succeeded correctly. And yeah, it's done here. It looks like everything is fine. If you had any issues, you want to check the log tab here, maybe share it, and just look for some help and research the problem on Google. But yeah, hopefully everything went well here. And if it did, you can just click next again. And on this final page, you can click finish. And that's basically the first part. We installed the MySQL Community Server locally on our computer. We can close down this tab here, and we can proceed to the next step. And that next step is step number 3, regarding using MySQL in the command line or the terminal. So there's one simple way to get started with it. You can click the Windows Start button, and then in the search box here, type in command line client, as you see me type here. And this MySQL and the version you installed, command line client app should show up. You can click on it. Again, make sure to type this to get it to pop up. And then you can click on it here, and it opens up this window where it will actually ask you to enter your password. And that's the root password that we just previously defined in the installation process. So make sure to type that in. And this will actually start MySQL in the command line. So you can type in something like show databases, and we can see some of the built-in ones, like the system ones. Then you could create your own database, for example, and so forth. So you can work with MySQL from here. So that's one simple way. Another more advanced option would be to set up the MySQL command from your terminal application, like PowerShell, for example, on Windows. So I'm going to close out of this and then click on the Windows Start menu here. And then in the search box again, type in PowerShell, and then you will see Windows PowerShell. Click to open it. Let's just try to just full screen it here. If you type in the MySQL command from PowerShell, it's actually not recognized. So that would be another way to start MySQL in the command line. And if you got this error, so the MySQL command is not recognized, you need to go to the start menu again, and then in the search, write environment variables, as you see me type here. And you should get this match saying edit the system environment variables. So make sure to open that up. And then here, click on the environment variables button. Then look down at the system variables. Here you want to scroll down or just look for the path system variable. After you found it, you want to click on it and highlight it, and then click this edit button here. Now here we will need to add the location of the MySQL executable, and to find that we need to open our file explorer. So let's click on it here and then go to your C drive, then go to program files. Here you want to find the MySQL folder, click on that as well, then click on the MySQL server folder, and then here find the bin folder and then click on it as well. Now here we actually have the MySQL executables, but we don't have to run anything from this interface. What we actually need to do is here at the top you have the location bar. Just go and click on the right side of it here, and then it will show you the full path to this folder that we're currently in. So it should highlight it, or you can manually highlight it like I did just now, and then right click and then press copy here, and then go back to that environment variables interface that you were just on, and here you will click the new button and you will get this new line kind of show up here. Then right click on it and click paste, and you can click anywhere in the empty rows here, and that will add the bin folder of the MySQL server installation. You can then click OK here, click OK here as well, and here as well click OK. You can also close down this bin folder from the file explorer. And now what you need to do is actually click X here to exit PowerShell, and then you need to start it again from the start menu, search for PowerShell. Again, click on the Windows PowerShell app here, and let's maximize it. And now write this specific command. So write MySQL, then a space, then a dash U space root space dash P. So double check, make sure that it looks like as shown here with all the spaces and the dashes, and then press enter here. Now it will ask you to enter your password, again the one that you specified during the MySQL installation. So it's the MySQL root password. So type it in and then press enter, and this will actually allow you to enter the MySQL command line from your terminal as well. Again, we can do queries like show databases, and it shows the built-in ones and the Zark one that I created earlier as well. So everything is working fine. We defined the MySQL command in our regular system terminals as well. So that's done. We can then click the X button to exit out of this, and we can go to the next step, step number 4 of installing MySQL Workbench. MySQL Workbench is a graphical user interface application, which means we don't use the command line or the terminal. We have an actual graphical app that we can use to interact with our MySQL database. So we're going to work on installing that next. You can find the download link in the notes here, so click on that, and it will take you to this MySQL Workbench downloads page. Here you can choose the latest version, unless again you have an old Windows version, then you might need to go back to the archives and find the version that works for you. But yeah, again, if you're using Windows 11 or Windows 10, you can just keep, of course, the latest version here. Microsoft Windows is the operating system that should be selected here. Let's scroll down and find the MSI installer and click the download button. Then click no thanks, just start my download here, and then it will download another MSI file for the workbench, so the graphical interface that we can use to interact with MySQL as well. So you can click OK to open this installer, and then the welcome screen will show up. Click next here. You can leave the default location for the installation, then click next again. You can choose complete here, click next, and then click finally the install button here, and wait for the installation process to start. And yeah, first you're going to need to approve this user account control prompt here. So click yes, and then wait for it to finish. And after it's finally done, you can leave this checkbox to launch the MySQL Workbench application now, and you can click finish. If you don't get MySQL Workbench launched at that point, then you can just go to the start menu again, search for Workbench, and then you can start it from there as well. But yeah, I already have it started. So here you can see this local instance that you can click on, and that will actually allow you to connect to your local server that we installed just earlier. If you don't see anything here, you can click on this plus icon, and that will allow you to set up a new connection. You can just write something like local DB for the connection name. You can leave host name at 127.0.0.1, port 3306, or whatever you specified earlier in the installation, but it should be this default one. Username should be root, and then password, you should click the store in vault button, and then you would specify the password, the root password for MySQL that you created during the MySQL installation process. So you would type it here, but yeah, I already have this local instance connection option created here. So I won't be doing that to create, double connections. So I'll just cancel out of it. But again, if you didn't have this already created for you, that's how you would create a new connection here, and you would press OK. But again, I already have it created, so I'll press cancel here, and then it will show up here. You can click to connect, and then it will ask you for your password. You can type it here, and you can choose to save password in the vault if you don't want to retype it every time, and then click OK. Now here you will see this connection warning, and this is, as far as I understand, because MySQL Workbench isn't currently being updated for the latest MySQL versions. I'm not sure if this will change in the future, but again, the compatibility of it cannot be guaranteed. But from what I've seen, it kind of works alright with the latest MySQL versions, at least as of now. So you can just click do not show this message again, and then click continue, and because of this we will show another option of a graphical user interface application that will be updated for sure in the future after setting up MySQL Workbench. But for now, again, check this and click continue anyway here, and we can see that it connected to the database Again, in the future, if this does not work because of the versions, then you want to skip and choose the next option that we're going to show in this video tutorial. But yeah, for now, let's just test this. I will just throw show databases, and I'll click this lightning icon here to execute it. And it's showing the databases, the one that I created. So it seems like everything is working here. And I'll just close it out, and we've successfully set up MySQL Workbench as well. And we can close this tab too. Now, since I mentioned the issue of MySQL Workbench not being updated, we're going to present an alternative in step number 5, and that's the DbGate app, the Community Edition. You can find the link for the download here, so make sure to click on it, and it should take you to this downloads page. Here you want to make sure that you're indeed downloading the Community Edition of DbGate and not the Premium Edition. So the Community Edition should be downloaded, and you want to find this Windows entry, and next to it you want to click on this installer button, so to get the installation to download on your computer. So click on it and wait for the download process to finish. And after the download has finished, you can just open it up from your downloads, and this will get DbGate installed, and it will actually start it automatically as well. Okay, now that DbGate has been installed and started, we want to create a new connection to our local MySQL database. So you should see this new connection screen automatically here. But if it does not show up for any reason, in the Connections tab on the left, you can click this plus icon and get it opened up that way as well. In any case, the connection type here, we should click on it, and from the menu, we should find and select the MySQL option, so click on it here. And then in these options that appear, we see server is set to localhost, that's fine. Port is the one specified in our MySQL installation, in this case 3306. User, so click on this and then type in root, as you see me type it here. And then for the password field, you want to type in the password that you specified during the MySQL installation. So again, the one that I told you to remember, and then that's fine. So you can scroll down here and you can hit this save button first. And then after you save the connection, you can click on the connect button here. Now you should see it connect successfully to your local MySQL database, and it should be indicated by this green check mark here. You can see the list of the databases, so the built-in ones and the Zarko one that I created earlier. So the first thing that you should do here is actually select a database. So I'll just do Zarko, I'll click on it here. And you can see it's selected, it's kind of bolded here. And now we can actually start writing some SQL code. To start writing code, in the top right corner here, you can see this plus icon. You can click on it, and that should open this new query tab where you can start writing your SQL code. Or another option to do the same thing is to click on File here on the top left, and then select New Query. In the New Query tab, again, you can write some SQL queries. Let's do, again, a simple one to check that it works. So show databases. And then at the bottom here, you can find this execute button to run your code. You can click on it. And we see that it's returning results, again, the list of databases, including the Zarko database. Okay, so it seems like it's working. Again, when you start DbGate, connect to your localhost MySQL database, and then click and select a database first before starting to write queries and executing them. So again, that's fine. We can now close out of this and also close out of this tab here. And that would basically be it for this tutorial. I hope this video helped you. If you have any problems, you can let me know in the comments. If you found this video useful, please take a moment to like the video, subscribe to my channel. All this support would mean a lot to me to be able to make future video tutorials. So thanks again, everyone, for watching, and I'll see you in another video. Take care, everyone. Thank you.